And continuing with this same coverage spreading across college campuses, NTD's Daniel Monahan spoke with Rabbi Yaakov Menken, Managing Director of the Coalition for Jewish Values, for analysis.
Rabbi Yaakov Menken with the Coalition for Jewish Values. Good to see you again.
Good to be back with you.
You've seen reports about the anti-Israel protests spreading on American college campuses. What's your reaction to that?
Right now, we have a very stark choice on American campuses. Do you want to have Jews or do you want to have anti-Semitic barbarians? Columbia University has literally been taken over by the Nazis. They told the students that they can have their encampment, and at that point, the Orthodox rabbi of the campus told students, go home.
How did the U.S. get to this point where Ivy League institutions, some of their professors and students, have seemed to express sympathies with extremist ideologies?
In the case of the United States, a lot of it started with the student generation, succeeding generations of left-wing indoctrination. First, what came up, support for communism, support for socialism, and then support for Jew hatred under a new name. And now the last generation's indoctrinated students are this generation's professors. So that's how you end up with tenured professors teaching anti-Semitic stupidities instead of actual instruction in the nature of academia.
Some universities have seemed reluctant to stop these demonstrations, and a lot of media outlets call Hamas a militant group, not a terrorist organization. Where does this seeming lack of solidarity with the Jewish people in major institutions come from?
It's that same bigotry. Look at every other army and in prosecuting. Do you know how many civilians, hundreds of thousands of civilians were killed in Afghanistan and Iraq in the wake of 9/11? Nobody accused America of committing a genocide or said that their efforts to remove Saddam Hussein and his army was somehow genocidal. Everybody understood immediately what the truth was. But when it comes to Jews, there's a peculiar, strange narrative that has nothing to do with the truth. The idea that Israel's conduct in Gaza is genocidal. Israel is doing more to avoid civilian casualties than any other army in the world, bar none.
Going forward, how can universities better handle these anti-Israel protests on their campuses and better protect Jewish students?
They have to follow the University of Texas, Austin, and Princeton model. These demonstrate, if you want to take over and do an encampment, you don't get to do that on campus. That's not called free speech. Free speech is when you get to articulate your views in a debate, not when you shout other people down, not when you block entrances to buildings, not when you prevent Jews from accessing classes, as has now happened at Columbia. This is just outrageous. And the idea that they're saying, oh, it's a free speech issue, is because they're trying to hide their vicious hatred behind a fig leaf. They want to destroy civilization. They are not the folks building it up. And that's how it needs to be responded to. How do you deal with violent criminals? You lock them up.
Rabbi Yaakov Menken, thank you.
No, that was great.